Hello there. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Right now, as you settle in, something remarkable is happening beneath your awareness. A vast hidden world is quietly at work, shaping your thoughts, guiding your feelings, and keeping you alive with a precision you never notice. Every heartbeat, every breath, every flicker of intuition is orchestrated by the subconscious mind, the silent partner that never sleeps. The subconscious is not a place you visit. It is a place you already are. It runs constantly, like an ocean beneath the surface of a calm sea. Tonight, we journey into the quiet world of the hidden mind. We will explore over 100 soothing facts about the subconscious, from dreams that speak in symbols to instincts that protect us before we can think, from memories stored since childhood to habits that run without our knowing. There is no test at the end, no rush, no urgency. Just the gentle unfolding of your own inner world to carry you softly towards sleep. So let your breathing slow, let your thoughts grow quiet, and allow yourself to drift into the peaceful wonder of the mind beneath the mind. Welcome to Drowsy Discovery. I am glad you found your way here tonight. Perhaps you have had a long day. Perhaps you simply enjoy falling asleep to thoughts about the remarkable processes happening within your own mind. Either way, this space is for you. There is something deeply calming about contemplating the hidden world of the subconscious. Every instinct, every dream, every quiet act of memory carries within it a story millions of years in the making. You are part of that story. The same mechanisms that guided our earliest ancestors through danger are still working within you tonight. The wisdom of the hidden mind has been passed down through countless generations, written into your very biology. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is relax. So settle in. Let the weight of the day drift away. And let us begin with the first of many quiet truths about the subconscious mind. The subconscious is patient beyond measure. Habits form over weeks and months. Memories consolidate while you sleep. Instincts sharpen across a lifetime without your ever noticing. And yet, within all that slowness, there are sudden bursts of wonder. Intuitions that arrive in an instant. Dreams that solve problems you had abandoned. Reflexes that save your life before you can think. Tonight, we will wander through this magnificent inner world. We will meet the patterns that shape your choices. We will discover the feelings that surface before words arrive. And we will uncover truths about the subconscious that may surprise even the most curious minds. But there is no hurry. Your subconscious has been working since before you were born. It can continue its quiet labor while you rest. Let us begin with what the subconscious truly is. The subconscious controls roughly 95% of brain activity. While we like to imagine ourselves as deliberate, conscious beings making careful decisions about our lives, the reality is far more humbling. Research suggests that the conscious mind handles only about 5% of our cognitive activities, leaving the vast majority of mental processing to the hidden depths of the subconscious. This hidden 95% includes everything from regulating your heartbeat and breathing, to processing sensory information, storing memories, and generating the automatic responses that guide most of your daily behavior. Your subconscious is like the engine room of a great ship, working constantly below deck, while the captain on the bridge believes he is in complete control. Without this massive subconscious processing capacity, the conscious mind would be overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information and decisions required to survive each moment. The next time you make what feels like a conscious choice, consider that the groundwork was almost certainly laid by forces operating far beneath your awareness. Decisions are often prepared by the subconscious before conscious awareness. Neuroscientific experiments have revealed something startling about the timing of our decisions. Brain scanning studies show that activity in decision-making regions of the brain begins several seconds before we consciously feel we have made a choice. In some experiments, researchers could predict which button a subject would press up to 10 seconds before the subject reported making the decision. This suggests that what we experience as deliberate choice is often the conscious mind simply becoming aware of decisions the subconscious has already prepared. Our sense of conscious will maybe more like a narrator describing events after they happen than a pilot steering the course. This does not mean we have no influence over our choices, but it does reveal that the subconscious plays a far larger role in decision-making than our subjective experience suggests. The subconscious never fully shuts down, even during deep sleep. Even in the deepest stages of sleep, when consciousness has completely withdrawn, your subconscious mind remains alert and active. It monitors the environment for potential dangers, ready to wake you if something threatens your safety. A mother can sleep through thunderstorms, but wake instantly at the soft cry of her baby, because her subconscious has been trained to prioritize that particular sound. The sleeping brain continues consolidating memories, processing emotional experiences, and maintaining all the vital functions that keep you alive. Dreams themselves are products of subconscious activity, creative explorations that occur while the conscious mind is offline. The subconscious is the guardian that never sleeps, maintaining its vigil through every night of your life. This tireless watcher ensures that even in your most vulnerable state, you are never truly unprotected. The hidden mind processes millions of sensory signals each second. Every moment of your waking life, your senses are bombarding your nervous system with an overwhelming flood of information. Your eyes alone send approximately 10 million bits of information to your brain every second, far more than your conscious mind could ever process. The subconscious acts as an incredibly sophisticated filter, sorting through this deluge and selecting only the most relevant signals to bring to conscious attention. It quietly tracks movements in your peripheral vision, monitors background sounds for anything unusual, and adjusts your balance based on constant feedback from your inner ear. Without this subconscious filtering, you would be paralyzed by sensory overload, unable to focus on anything amid the chaos. The subconscious gives you the gift of a manageable, coherent world by doing the massive computational work required to create it. The subconscious speaks in feelings, rather than words. While your conscious mind thinks in language and logic, the subconscious communicates through a different vocabulary entirely. Its messages arrive as emotions, intuitions, physical sensations, and wordless impressions that you feel rather than think. When you meet someone new and instantly feel uneasy despite their friendly words, that is your subconscious speaking, having detected subtle cues your conscious mind missed. A sudden feeling of dread, an inexplicable attraction, a moment of inspiration that arrives fully formed, these are all communications from the hidden mind. Artists and musicians often describe their best work as flowing from somewhere beyond conscious thought, bubbling up from depths they cannot access deliberately. Learning to recognize and trust these subconscious messages can provide wisdom that pure conscious reasoning cannot match. The boundary between conscious and subconscious is fluid, not fixed. The division between conscious and subconscious is not a solid wall, but a shifting, permeable membrane that changes moment to moment. Skills that once required full conscious attention, like driving or reading, eventually sink into the subconscious through practice and become automatic. Conversely, aspects of yourself usually hidden can suddenly emerge into awareness through dreams, meditation, or moments of crisis. Hypnosis, meditation, and certain psychological techniques can temporarily lower the barrier, allowing communication between the two realms. In altered states of consciousness, including the moments just before sleep, the boundary becomes particularly thin and fluid. This permeability is not a weakness but a feature, allowing for learning, adaptation, and the integration of new experiences into the self. The dance between conscious and subconscious is constant, with each informing and shaping the other throughout your life. Habits are stored and executed by the subconscious without conscious effort. Once a habit is formed, it moves from conscious control to the realm of the subconscious, where it can run automatically without requiring your attention. This process evolved because conscious thought is slow and energy-intensive, while subconscious routines can be executed quickly and efficiently. When you first learned to tie your shoes, every movement required careful concentration, but now your fingers move through the motions while your mind wanders elsewhere. The basal ganglia, a structure deep in the brain, plays a central role in storing and triggering these automatic behaviors. This is why habits can be so difficult to break. They are literally encoded in a different part of the brain than conscious thought. To change a habit, you must bring it back into conscious awareness and replace it with a new pattern, which the subconscious will eventually adopt in turn. Repetition trains the subconscious more effectively than explanation. You cannot talk yourself into a new habit through pure understanding. You must train the subconscious through repeated action. Knowing intellectually that you should exercise, eat well, or practice gratitude changes nothing until you actually perform these behaviors enough times for the subconscious to absorb them. This is why willpower alone so often fails. The conscious mind grows tired, while the subconscious continues running old programs unchanged. The subconscious learns through experience, not explanation, through doing rather than understanding. Athletes, musicians, and craftspeople know this instinctively, spending thousands of hours in practice to train their subconscious until excellence becomes automatic. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways until the new pattern becomes the default, and only then does the conscious mind become truly free. The subconscious can learn complex patterns without awareness. Remarkably, your subconscious can identify and learn complex patterns even when you are completely unaware that any learning is taking place. Experiments have shown that people can develop accurate intuitions about rule-governed systems, like artificial grammars or hidden regularities in sequences, without being able to articulate what they have learned. This implicit learning allows you to absorb the incredibly complex rules of language as a child, without ever being taught grammar explicitly. Your subconscious is constantly extracting regularities from the environment and building models that guide your behavior. This hidden learning continues throughout life, shaping your expectations and reactions in ways you never consciously notice. The knowledge you have but cannot explain is often the product of this subconscious pattern recognition. Driving on familiar routes becomes automatic through subconscious memory. Many people have had the unsettling experience of arriving at a familiar destination with almost no memory of the drive itself. This phenomenon occurs because the subconscious has taken over the routine aspects of driving, leaving the conscious mind free to wander. On a familiar route, your subconscious handles steering, braking, navigation, and traffic observation, all while you think about something else entirely. This is an example of automaticity, the ability of practice skills to run without conscious supervision. The subconscious remains vigilant for anything unusual, ready to alert the conscious mind if genuine attention is needed. This division of labor between conscious and subconscious is enormously efficient, but can occasionally fail when the unexpected occurs on an over-familiar route. It is a reminder that even when you feel you are not paying attention, a part of you is always watching. Muscle memory is stored in subconscious motor circuits. The term muscle memory is slightly misleading because memories are not actually stored in muscles but in the subconscious motor control systems of the brain and spinal cord. When you learn a physical skill, whether playing piano, swinging a golf club, or typing on a keyboard, the movements are gradually encoded in these subconscious circuits. Once established, these motor programs can be executed with remarkable precision, while your conscious mind focuses elsewhere. A skilled pianist can carry on a conversation, while their fingers navigate complex passages automatically. This is why physical skills, once learned well, tend to persist even after years of disuse. They are stored in robust subconscious systems that degrade slowly. The body remembers what the conscious mind has long forgotten. Typing rhythm reflects subconscious states of mind. The way you type, not just what you type, but how fast and with what rhythm, carries information about your subconscious state that you may not consciously intend to reveal. Research has shown that typing patterns change measurably when people are tired, stressed, distracted, or experiencing different emotional states. The subconscious controls the fine motor timing of keystrokes, and this timing is influenced by factors far beneath conscious awareness. Some security systems now use typing dynamics as biometric authentication, because each person's typing rhythm is as unique as a fingerprint. Hesitations, speed variations, and error patterns all reflect the hidden workings of the mind behind the keyboard. Even in this most mundane of activities, the subconscious leaves its signature. Core beliefs are often imprinted in the subconscious during early childhood. The first years of life represent a period of extraordinary subconscious programming, when fundamental beliefs about self, others, and the world are established. During this critical window, the brain is highly plastic, and the boundary between conscious and subconscious barely exists, allowing experiences to write directly into the deepest levels of the psyche. A child who receives consistent love and security develops subconscious beliefs about being worthy and the world being safe that persist throughout life. Conversely, early experiences of neglect or criticism can create subconscious convictions of unworthiness that influence adult behavior decades later. These early imprints are particularly powerful because they are installed before the critical faculties of adult consciousness develop. Changing these foundational beliefs requires working at the subconscious level where they are stored, which is why adult therapy can be such a challenging process. Childhood praise forms subconscious self-belief systems. The words spoken to children, particularly by primary caregivers, become part of the subconscious narrative they carry about themselves into adulthood. When a child hears repeatedly that they are clever, capable, and loved, these messages sink into the subconscious and form the bedrock of self-confidence. Similarly, criticism, ridicule, or indifference can create subconscious scripts of inadequacy that run automatically in adult life, influencing choices and reactions far from conscious awareness. Research shows that the way praise is given matters. Praising effort rather than fixed traits builds more resilient subconscious beliefs about growth and capability. These early verbal messages become the default self-talk that runs continuously in the background of adult minds. Understanding this helps explain why adults often struggle with beliefs about themselves that seem to have no rational basis in their current circumstances. Childhood trauma can resurface through subconscious dreams. Traumatic experiences from childhood that have been pushed out of conscious awareness often find expression through the symbolic language of dreams. The subconscious uses dreams as a processing space, returning again and again to unresolved experiences in an attempt to integrate and heal them. Adults who have no conscious memory of early trauma may experience recurring nightmares or unsettling dream themes that emerge from subconscious storage. These dreams are not random, but represent the hidden mind's ongoing work on material too overwhelming to process in waking consciousness. Understanding dreams as communications from the subconscious about unresolved experience can provide valuable therapeutic insight. The sleeping mind continues the work of healing that the waking mind cannot face directly. Early emotional patterns shape adult reactions through hidden pathways. The emotional responses you developed as a child to cope with your specific family environment become subconscious templates that activate automatically in adult relationships. If you learn to withdraw when facing conflict because that was the safest response in your childhood home, you may find yourself withdrawing from adult confrontations before you consciously choose to do so. These early patterns are stored in the limbic system and other subconscious brain structures that respond faster than conscious thought. Adults often find themselves reacting to present situations with emotions that seem disproportionate because they are actually responding to ancient subconscious memories triggered by superficial similarities. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward changing them, but the work must be done at the subconscious level where they reside. The emotional habits of childhood are deeply grooved into the brain and require patient, consistent effort to redirect. The subconscious stores childhood songs and melodies for decades. Music experienced in childhood becomes encoded in the subconscious, with remarkable durability, often persisting intact for an entire lifetime. Songs heard during early years are stored not just as melodies, but as complete emotional experiences, bundled with the feelings and sensations of the original context. This is why hearing a childhood song can trigger such powerful waves of nostalgia and emotion. The subconscious releases the entire package of associated memories at once. Elderly people with dementia who have lost most conscious memories often retain the ability to sing songs from their childhood when prompted. This musical memory appears to be stored in subconscious regions that are more resistant to degradation than explicit memory systems. The lullabies your parents sang to you may still be humming somewhere in the depths of your hidden mind. The subconscious detects threats faster than conscious thought. When danger appears, your subconscious responds before your conscious mind even registers what is happening. The amygdala, an almond-shaped structure deep in the brain, receives sensory information and can trigger fear responses in as little as 12 milliseconds, far faster than the conscious mind can process. You may find yourself flinching away from a perceived threat before you consciously know what you saw, your body moving to protect you while your mind catches up. This split-second advantage was essential for survival in a world full of predators where hesitation meant death. The subconscious still performs this rapid threat detection today, scanning continuously for anything that resembles danger based on patterns learned throughout your life. Sometimes this system produces false alarms, reacting to harmless stimuli that superficially resemble threats, but the principle of better safe than sorry has kept countless ancestors alive. The hidden mind constantly scans the environment for danger signals. Even when you feel completely relaxed and inattentive, your subconscious is maintaining a constant vigilance, monitoring the environment for anything that might signal danger. This background scanning processes far more information than you consciously notice, checking peripheral vision, background sounds, subtle changes in lighting, and countless other cues. When something triggers the alarm, you experience it as a sudden alertness or unease, often without knowing why you suddenly feel on edge. This subconscious security system allowed our ancestors to detect predators lurking in tall grass or enemies approaching from behind, before conscious awareness provided any warning. The feeling of walking into a room and sensing something is wrong before you can identify what is an example of this system working perfectly. You are never truly unguarded, because the hidden mind is always on watch. Snap judgments are made subconsciously in fractions of a second. Research has shown that we form initial impressions of new people within milliseconds of encountering them, long before conscious analysis has time to engage. The subconscious rapidly assesses facial features, body language, vocal tone, and countless subtle cues to produce an instant evaluation of whether someone is trustworthy, competent, or threatening. These snap judgments are often surprisingly accurate, reflecting the accumulated wisdom of millions of social interactions processed by generations of human minds. However, they can also be influenced by biases and stereotypes that operate below conscious awareness. First impressions are difficult to change precisely because they are formed at the subconscious level, where they continue to influence perception, even when conscious observation should contradict them. Understanding that your first impressions are subconscious responses rather than objective assessments can help you evaluate them more critically. Subconscious scanning makes you sense unseen movements. You may have experienced the uncanny sensation of knowing something is moving in your peripheral vision, even when you cannot consciously see what it is. This occurs because your subconscious processes motion detection in the peripheral visual field before the information reaches conscious awareness. The ability to detect movement at the edges of vision was crucial for spotting approaching predators and prey in ancestral environments. Your subconscious is particularly sensitive to motion that might indicate something alive and potentially threatening. When this system detects movement, it sends an alert that you experience as a compelling urge to turn and look. Even blind patients with certain types of brain damage can detect motion in their blind field, a phenomenon called blind sight that reveals the depth of subconscious visual processing. The feeling of being watched is processed below conscious awareness. Many people report having sensed that someone was watching them before turning to discover they were correct, a phenomenon that has puzzled researchers for years. While sometimes this can be attributed to chance or subtle peripheral vision cues, there is evidence that we subconsciously detect the focused attention of others through extremely subtle cues. Minute changes in another person's body orientation, small sounds, or even barely perceptible shifts in social atmosphere may be detected by the subconscious and processed as the sensation of being observed. The accuracy of this sense varies, but it represents another example of the subconscious monitoring the environment for socially significant information. Whether or not genuine extrasensory perception exists, the subconscious is clearly processing far more information about others' attention than we consciously notice. Goosebumps are triggered by subconscious fear signals. When you experience fear or awe, tiny muscles at the base of each hair follicle contract, causing the hair to stand erect and creating the bumps we call goosebumps. This response is triggered automatically by the subconscious, specifically by the sympathetic nervous system preparing the body for fight or flight. In our furry ancestors, this response served to make the animal appear larger and more threatening to predators or rivals. Although we have lost most of our body hair, the subconscious mechanism remains intact, activating in response to fear, cold, or intense emotional experiences. The same response can be triggered by music that moves us deeply, revealing the emotional processing happening beneath conscious awareness. Goosebumps are a visible sign of subconscious activity, the hidden mind manifesting physically on the surface of the skin. Emotions often surface subconsciously, before conscious awareness. You frequently experience emotional responses before you consciously understand what you are feeling or why. The subconscious emotional brain processes situations faster than the conscious mind, generating feelings that bubble up into awareness already formed. You might notice your heart racing with anxiety before you consciously register what is making you worried, or feel suddenly happy without immediately knowing the cause. This sequence, where the body responds emotionally before the mind catches up, reveals the primacy of subconscious processing in emotional life. Becoming aware of these pre-conscious emotional states is a key skill in emotional intelligence, allowing you to understand your reactions before acting on them impulsively. The body often knows how you feel before your conscious mind has the words to describe it. Blushing is triggered by the subconscious in response to social emotions. The crimson flush that spreads across your face when embarrassed is entirely beyond conscious control, triggered by subconscious responses to social emotions. When the subconscious detects a situation involving potential social judgment, it activates the sympathetic nervous system, which dilates blood vessels in the face and causes the characteristic redness. Blushing cannot be prevented by willpower alone, because it operates through pathways that bypass conscious control entirely. Interestingly, the very desire not to blush often intensifies the response, as the subconscious registers the heightened social anxiety. This involuntary display may have evolved as a social signal, communicating awareness of a social mistake and thereby reducing conflict. The blush on your cheeks is your subconscious speaking directly to the social world in a language older than words. Subconscious signals can trigger sudden chills throughout the body. Beyond goosebumps, the subconscious can trigger waves of chills that run through the entire body in response to certain emotional experiences. These chills often accompany moments of awe, profound beauty, or deep emotional resonance, produced by the subconscious releasing a cascade of neurotransmitters that affect the whole system. Some researchers call these aesthetic chills or frisson, and they represent the subconscious's response to experiences it finds significant at a deep level. The same chill can occur when something feels spooky or uncanny, revealing the close connection between awe and fear in subconscious processing. Not everyone experiences these chills with equal frequency, but for those who do, they serve as messages from the hidden mind about what matters. Paying attention to what gives you chills can reveal subconscious values and sensitivities you might not otherwise access. Blood pressure shifts with subconscious emotion. Every time you experience an emotional shift, even one too subtle for conscious awareness, your blood pressure changes in response. The subconscious autonomic nervous system adjusts cardiovascular activity constantly based on emotional state, perceived threat, and arousal level. Anger typically raises blood pressure as the body prepares for conflict, while safety and relaxation allow it to drop. These changes happen automatically, reflecting subconscious assessments of your situation rather than conscious choices. Chronic subconscious stress can maintain elevated blood pressure over long periods, contributing to cardiovascular disease even when you consciously feel you are coping well. The heart is intimately connected to the hidden mind, responding to its every whisper with measurable physical change. Eye movements are shaped by subconscious emotion and thought. The direction and pattern of your eye movements reveal far more than you realize about your subconscious mental state. When remembering something, most people look in different directions than when imagining something new, a pattern the subconscious controls without conscious intention. Emotions shape where you look. Anxious people unconsciously scan for threats, while happy people's gaze dwells longer on positive stimuli. Liars often show distinctive eye movement patterns. though not always the ones folklore suggests, because the subconscious effort of deception changes how the eyes move. These involuntary eye behaviors are used in some forms of therapy, where directing eye movement can help process traumatic memories stored in the subconscious. Your eyes are windows not just into your conscious soul, but into the hidden depths of your subconscious mind. Smiling can alter mood through subconscious feedback loops. The relationship between facial expression and emotion runs both ways, with the subconscious using feedback from facial muscles to modulate emotional state. When you smile, even if you do not feel happy, the muscle activity sends signals to the brain that can actually elevate mood. This facial feedback effect operates through subconscious pathways, shifting emotional tone without any conscious intervention required. Studies have shown that people forced to hold a pencil between their teeth in a way that mimics smiling rate cartoons as funnier than those holding the pencil in a way that prevents smiling. The subconscious takes cues from the body about how to feel, which is why body language can influence emotional states. Consciously choosing to smile, even without feeling it, can actually change how your subconscious processes the present moment. The subconscious controls heartbeat without conscious input. Your heart has beaten approximately 2 billion times since you were born, and not a single beat required your conscious attention or decision. The subconscious autonomic nervous system regulates heart rhythm through the sinoatrial node, the heart's natural pacemaker, adjusting rate constantly based on activity level, emotional state, and metabolic needs. During sleep, your heart slows to a gentle rhythm. During exercise or excitement, it accelerates to meet increased demand. This regulation continues reliably through every moment of your life, one of countless vital functions the subconscious manages without acknowledgement. If you had to consciously remember to keep your heart beating, you would not survive a single distracted moment. The partnership between conscious and subconscious is never more vital than in this most fundamental of life processes. Breathing continues automatically through subconscious regulation. Unlike many automatic functions, breathing occupies a unique position at the boundary between conscious and subconscious control. The brainstem's respiratory centers maintain breathing automatically during normal activity and sleep, ensuring you never suffocate from simply forgetting to breathe. However, you can also choose to hold your breath, breathe deeply, or alter your breathing pattern consciously at any moment. This dual control reflects the special importance of respiration in both survival and emotional regulation. When the subconscious detects danger, it automatically quickens breath to prepare for action. When you are calm, breathing slows and deepens without conscious effort. Breath is a bridge between the conscious and subconscious, one of the few points where voluntary control can directly influence automatic systems. The subconscious keeps your body temperature stable. Maintaining a core body temperature within a narrow range is essential for survival, and this critical function is managed entirely by the subconscious hypothalamus. When you overheat, the subconscious triggers sweating and blood vessel dilation to release heat. When you are cold, it induces shivering and blood vessel constriction to conserve warmth. You become aware of feeling hot or cold, but the regulatory responses happen automatically, without any conscious decision required. Fever is a subconscious response to infection, deliberately raising the body's thermostat to create an environment hostile to pathogens. This temperature regulation continues through sleep, illness, and every variation of environment, a testament to the subconscious's tireless vigilance. You need never consciously decide to thermoregulate, because your hidden mind handles it perfectly without being asked. Digestion is managed entirely by the hidden mind. From the moment food enters your mouth until waste is eliminated, the entire process of digestion is orchestrated by the subconscious, through the enteric nervous system, sometimes called the second brain. This network of over 100 million neurons in the gut wall controls muscular contractions that move food along the digestive tract, secretion of digestive enzymes, and absorption of nutrients. The conscious mind has almost no access to these processes. You cannot consciously decide to secrete more stomach acid or speed up intestinal contractions. Stress and emotions, processed by the subconscious, profoundly affect digestion, which is why anxiety can cause stomach upset. The gut's subconscious intelligence is sophisticated enough that it can continue functioning even when completely disconnected from the brain. The phrase gut feeling reflects ancient wisdom about the intelligence residing in this subconscious digestive system. Blinking rate is partly controlled by the subconscious. You blink approximately 15 to 20 times per minute, and each blink is entirely automatic, controlled by the subconscious to keep your eyes moist and protected, without requiring any conscious attention. Like breathing, blinking can be consciously controlled for brief periods, but the subconscious always resumes automatic operation when conscious attention wanders. Interestingly, blink rate is influenced by cognitive load and emotional state. People blink more frequently when anxious, and less frequently during concentrated focus. Subconscious coordination ensures that you rarely blink during critical moments of visual attention, briefly suppressing the reflex when you need to see. During conversations, blinking often synchronizes subconsciously between speakers, one of many ways the hidden mind coordinates social interaction. This humble function reveals how thoroughly the subconscious manages even the smallest details of your physical existence. The subconscious regulates hormone release throughout the day. The endocrine system, which governs hormone secretion, operates almost entirely under subconscious control through the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Cortisol levels rise in the morning to help you wake and fall in the evening to permit sleep, a pattern established by the subconscious regardless of conscious intention. Stress hormones are released automatically in response to perceived threats, preparing the body for action before conscious awareness registers what is happening. Sexual and reproductive hormones follow complex cycles regulated by subconscious systems that conscious willpower cannot directly influence. Insulin release is triggered automatically by blood sugar levels, maintaining metabolic balance without any conscious decision. This hormonal orchestra plays continuously in the background of your life, timing the biological rhythms that shape your mood, energy, and well-being. Smell can trigger vivid subconscious memories instantly. Of all the senses, smell has the most direct pathway to the subconscious memory systems, bypassing the usual conscious processing routes entirely. When you catch a whiff of something associated with your past, memories can flood back with startling vividness for which you were completely unprepared. This happens because the olfactory bulb, which processes smell, connects directly to the amygdala and hippocampus, the brain regions most involved in emotion and memory. A scent from childhood can transport you back decades in an instant, complete with emotions and sensations you had consciously forgotten. This Proustian phenomenon, named after the author who wrote so beautifully about involuntary memory, reveals how much of our past is stored in subconscious archives, awaiting the right trigger. The smells of your childhood are keys that can unlock doors in your memory you did not know existed. The subconscious constantly compares present events with past experiences. As you move through the world, your subconscious is continuously running pattern-matching operations, comparing incoming sensory information with stored memories to generate predictions and guide behavior. This comparison happens automatically and unconsciously, influencing your perception and reactions before you are aware of it. When something in the present resembles something from the past, the subconscious retrieves associated expectations and emotional reactions, coloring your experience in ways you may not recognize. This system allows learning from experience to guide behavior efficiently, but it can also cause past traumas to influence present situations inappropriately. The feeling of familiarity you experience in a new place often reflects subconscious recognition of similarities to places encountered before. Every moment of perception is a collaboration between present sensation and subconscious memory. Déjà vu arises from subconscious memory errors. That strange feeling of having experienced the present moment before, despite knowing logically that you have not, appears to result from a subconscious memory glitch. One theory suggests that déjà vu occurs when the subconscious memory system retrieves a sense of familiarity before conscious perception is complete, creating the illusion that the present is being remembered rather than experienced fresh. Another explanation proposes that one eye or one brain hemisphere processes input slightly before the other, causing the delayed information to feel like a memory. Whatever the precise mechanism, déjà vu reveals the normally hidden process of subconscious memory encoding. For that brief unsettling moment, the curtain between conscious perception and subconscious processing lifts slightly, and we glimpse the machinery beneath. The experience reminds us how much of what we call perception is actually subconscious construction. False memories can be planted in the subconscious through suggestion. The subconscious memory system is far more malleable than most people realize, capable of incorporating entirely fictional events as if they were genuine memories. Research has demonstrated that through suggestion and imagination, people can come to believe sincerely that they experienced events that never occurred. These false memories feel as real and emotionally vivid as genuine ones, because they are constructed by the same subconscious systems that build all memories. Leading questions, repeated suggestions, and imaginative exercises can all contribute to the implantation of false memories. This vulnerability has important implications for eyewitness testimony, therapy, and our understanding of personal history. The stories we tell ourselves about our past may be less reliable records and more creative subconscious constructions than we would like to believe. The subconscious can suppress painful memories to protect awareness. When experiences are too painful or traumatic for conscious processing, the subconscious sometimes employs defense mechanisms to keep them out of awareness. Repression, though controversial among psychologists, describes the subconscious process of burying memories that threaten psychological well-being. These suppressed memories are not destroyed but remain stored in subconscious regions, sometimes leaking into consciousness through dreams, slips of the tongue, or unexplained emotional reactions. The boundary between forgetting and repression is difficult to establish scientifically, but most researchers agree that the subconscious can influence which memories are accessible to consciousness. This protective function can be adaptive in the short term, but may create problems if unresolved material continues to influence behavior from below awareness. The subconscious guardian sometimes protects us from truths we are not ready to face. Subconscious stress can weaken memory recall under pressure. The stress hormones released by subconscious threat detection can significantly impair the ability to retrieve memories from storage. This is why your mind can go blank during a test or presentation, despite knowing the material well when relaxed. The subconscious prioritizes immediate survival over memory access, diverting resources away from recall when it perceives danger. Ironically, the very importance of a situation can trigger enough subconscious stress to undermine performance. Techniques that calm the subconscious stress response, such as deep breathing or mindfulness, can help restore memory access by signaling safety to the hidden mind. Understanding this mechanism can help us be gentler with ourselves when stress interferes with performance. Dreams allow the subconscious to explore ideas freely. During dreaming, the critical faculties of the conscious mind are suspended, allowing the subconscious to explore ideas, scenarios, and combinations that waking logic would reject as impossible. The bizarre imagery and impossible physics of dreams represent the subconscious mind freed from the constraints of reality testing and linear thinking. In this unrestricted space, the subconscious can connect distant memories, explore taboo feelings, and recombine ideas in novel ways. Many creative breakthroughs have emerged from dreams, where the subconscious solved problems that conscious effort could not crack. The content of dreams often reflects ongoing concerns and processes, the subconscious continuing to work on matters that preoccupy the waking mind. To dream is to grant your hidden mind permission to think without limitations. Symbolism in dreams comes directly from the subconscious. Dreams speak in the language of symbols, images that carry emotional and conceptual weight beyond their literal appearance. This symbolism emerges from the subconscious, which naturally thinks in metaphors and associations rather than the literal, logical language of conscious thought. A dream of falling might represent subconscious feelings of losing control. A dream of water might symbolize emotional depth or the unknown. The symbols are personal, drawing on your individual history and associations, though some appear to be shared across human cultures. Interpreting dreams requires translating from the subconscious symbolic language back into conscious understanding. The symbols that populate your dreams are messages from your hidden self, waiting to be decoded. Nightmares can reveal subconscious stress and unresolved fears. When the subconscious is processing particularly difficult material, the result can be nightmares that jolt you awake in fear or distress. These disturbing dreams often point to subconscious anxieties, traumas, or conflicts that have not been adequately processed or resolved. Recurring nightmares may indicate that the subconscious is repeatedly attempting to process something it cannot successfully integrate. Rather than random torment, nightmares can be understood as the subconscious attempting to communicate urgent concerns to conscious awareness. Addressing the underlying issues in waking life often reduces nightmare frequency, as the subconscious no longer needs to send such urgent signals. The content of nightmares, however distressing, may contain valuable information about what troubles your hidden mind. Microdreams lasting seconds are processed by the subconscious. The boundary between waking and sleeping is not as sharp as we usually assume, and brief dreamlike experiences called microdreams can intrude into waking consciousness. These fleeting visions, often lasting only seconds, occur in states of drowsiness or extreme fatigue when the subconscious begins generating dream content, while some waking awareness remains. You may experience a vivid scene, or hear a snatch of conversation that seems real for a moment, before you snap back to ordinary awareness. Microdreams reveal that the dream-generating machinery of the subconscious is always present, held in check by waking consciousness but ready to engage when vigilance lapses. These tiny dreams are previews of the larger productions waiting once full sleep arrives. They remind us that the subconscious dreaming mind is never far away, even in our waking hours. Sleep talking reveals fragments of subconscious thought. When people speak in their sleep, they often reveal fragments of the subconscious mental activity occurring in dreams or deep relaxation. These utterances are typically brief and often incomprehensible, but they can occasionally include coherent phrases or even entire conversations. Sleep talking occurs when the normal paralysis of sleep fails to fully inhibit the speech centers, allowing subconscious content to escape into audible form. The content sometimes relates to current concerns, past experiences, or the dream in progress, offering glimpses into subconscious processing. Sleep talkers usually have no memory of what they said, as the conscious mind was not present to record the episode. These nocturnal monologues are the subconscious speaking aloud when it believes no one is listening. The hypnagogic state blurs the line between conscious and subconscious. The transitional period between waking and sleeping, called the hypnagogic state, represents a remarkable meeting point of conscious and subconscious awareness. During this twilight zone, vivid imagery, floating sensations, and disconnected thoughts can arise spontaneously as the subconscious begins to generate dream content, while some conscious observation remains. Many people report creative ideas, solutions to problems, or unusual perceptual experiences in this liminal state. Artists and inventors have deliberately cultivated the hypnagogic state to harvest the creative productions of the emerging subconscious. Salvador Dali famously napped with a key in his hand, so the noise of dropping it would wake him and allow him to capture hypnagogic images. This borderland between waking and sleeping offers a rare window into the subconscious at work. Lucid dreaming allows conscious access to the subconscious world. In a lucid dream, you become aware that you are dreaming while the dream continues, achieving conscious presence within the subconscious realm. This remarkable state allows the dreamer to observe, explore, and sometimes even direct the dream environment with deliberate intention. Lucid dreaming represents a unique hybrid of conscious awareness and subconscious creative production, where both systems operate simultaneously. Some people can cultivate lucid dreaming through specific techniques, gaining regular access to this inner world of unrestricted possibility. In lucid dreams, the laws of physics do not apply, allowing flight, transformation, and experiences impossible in waking life. This ability to be consciously present in the subconscious world has fascinated humanity for millennia and continues to be studied by modern neuroscientists. In lucid dreams, the conscious and subconscious can dialogue. The lucid dream state offers an extraordinary opportunity for communication between conscious and subconscious aspects of the self. Some lucid dreamers deliberately engage dream characters, who may be understood as projections of subconscious content, in conversation and receive meaningful responses. These dialogues can reveal subconscious perspectives, unrecognized emotions, or creative insights that would otherwise remain hidden. The subconscious continues generating the dream environment and characters, even as the conscious mind observes and interacts, creating a collaborative space between the two. Some practitioners use lucid dreaming as a tool for self-exploration, asking questions of dream figures to access subconscious wisdom. Whether the answers come from some deeper self or are simply products of imaginative play, lucid dreaming offers a unique bridge to the hidden mind. Sleep paralysis is linked to subconscious brain activity. During the dream phase of sleep, called REM, the brainstem actively paralyzes most voluntary muscles to prevent you from acting out your dreams physically. Sometimes this paralysis persists into waking awareness, or begins before consciousness fully disappears, creating the frightening experience of sleep paralysis. In this state, you are conscious but unable to move, and the subconscious often generates hallucinations that can include perceived presences, pressure on the chest, or strange figures in the room. These hallucinations are essentially dreams overlaying waking perception, products of the subconscious intruding into conscious experience. Throughout history, sleep paralysis experiences have been attributed to demons, witches, and alien abductions, interpretations of the mysterious subconscious productions accompanying the condition. Understanding sleep paralysis as a natural phenomenon of subconscious-conscious overlap can help reduce the terror many people feel during episodes. The subconscious creates vivid dream environments from memory fragments. The elaborate settings of dreams, which can seem so real despite their impossibility, are constructed by the subconscious from fragments of visual memory, emotional associations, and creative improvisation. Buildings may combine features from multiple remembered places, faces may merge characteristics of different people, and landscapes may shift seamlessly in ways physical reality never permits. The subconscious draws on a lifetime of stored visual information to create these composite dreamscapes, often with remarkable detail and coherence. Time spent in visual environments during waking life provides the raw material the subconscious later uses in dream construction. New experiences often appear, modified and recombined, in dreams over the following days as the subconscious integrates them into memory. The dream worlds we inhabit each night are museums of our visual experience, curated and reimagined by the hidden mind. Hypnosis can communicate directly with the subconscious mind. Hypnosis is a state of focused attention and heightened suggestibility in which the critical faculties of the conscious mind are temporarily relaxed, allowing more direct access to the subconscious. Under hypnosis, suggestions can bypass the usual conscious resistance and be accepted directly by the hidden mind, where they can influence automatic behaviors, emotional responses, and even physical sensations. Therapeutic hypnosis has been used successfully to help people quit smoking, manage pain, reduce anxiety, and address phobias by working at the subconscious level where these patterns are stored. The hypnotist does not control the subject, but rather guides them into a state where communication with the subconscious becomes easier. Not everyone is equally hypnotizable, with some people naturally more able to access this state than others. Hypnosis reveals that under the right conditions, the barrier between conscious and subconscious becomes unusually permeable. The subconscious is more receptive during hypnotic states. During hypnosis, the subconscious appears to become more open to accepting new suggestions and patterns than it is in ordinary waking consciousness. This heightened receptivity may explain why hypnotic suggestions can sometimes produce dramatic changes in behavior that conscious effort alone could not achieve. The relaxation of conscious critical faculties allows ideas to reach the subconscious without the usual filtering and questioning that might block them. Positive suggestions delivered during hypnosis can plant seeds that grow into changed automatic responses over time. However, this receptivity also means that poorly conceived or unethical suggestions could potentially influence the subconscious negatively. The power of hypnosis lies in its ability to speak directly to the hidden mind when its usual guardians are relaxed. Meditation quiets the subconscious chatter and reduces reactivity. Regular meditation practice has been shown to reduce the constant stream of subconscious activity that usually runs as background noise in the mind. Through sustained attention training, meditators learn to observe the arising and passing of thoughts and emotional reactions without being automatically carried away by them. This creates space between subconscious impulse and conscious action, allowing greater choice in how to respond to internal experience. Brain imaging studies show that long-term meditators have altered activity in regions associated with automatic emotional reactivity. The practice does not silence the subconscious, but rather changes the relationship between conscious awareness and subconscious processes. With practice, the reactive patterns of the subconscious become less automatic, creating more freedom to respond thoughtfully to life's challenges. automatic writing can reveal hidden subconscious thoughts. Automatic writing is a technique in which one writes without conscious intention, allowing the hand to move freely while attention is diverted elsewhere, in an attempt to access subconscious content. Practitioners relaxed their conscious control and allowed whatever wanted to emerge through the moving pen or keyboard to do so freely. The results often surprise the writer, containing phrases, ideas, or emotional expressions that seem to come from somewhere other than deliberate conscious thought. Whether automatic writing truly bypasses conscious control or simply loosens its grip enough for marginal thoughts to emerge is debated. Some psychologists view it as a valid projective technique for accessing subconscious material, while others are more skeptical. Regardless of the mechanism, many people find the practice reveals thoughts and feelings they were not consciously aware of carrying. Creative insights often emerge from subconscious connections. The sudden flash of creative insight, when a solution or idea appears fully formed seemingly from nowhere, typically represents the conscious mind becoming aware of connections the subconscious has been building in the background. Creativity researchers call this the incubation effect, where stepping away from a problem allows subconscious processing to continue without the constraints of conscious focus. The subconscious can hold more variables simultaneously and explore more unusual combinations than deliberate conscious thought typically permits. Many scientists and artists report that their best ideas came during rest, in dreams, or in moments of relaxation when conscious striving had ceased. The famous eureka moment is often the tip of an iceberg of subconscious work that preceded it. Trusting this process and allowing time for incubation is an essential element of creative practice. Daydreaming allows the subconscious to generate unexpected solutions. When the mind wanders freely, apparently wasting time in idle fantasy, the subconscious is often productively at work. Daydreaming activates the default mode network in the brain, a set of regions associated with self-reflection, future planning, and creative recombination of ideas. During these unfocused states, the subconscious can make novel connections between distant concepts that focused attention might never explore. Studies have shown that people who engage in regular daydreaming often perform better on creative problem-solving tasks. The key is to allow genuine mental wandering rather than simply distracting with entertainment. What looks like laziness or distraction may actually be the subconscious doing some of its most valuable work, playing with possibilities beyond the reach of focused intention. The subconscious continues problem-solving while the conscious mind rests. Even after you consciously stop thinking about a problem, your subconscious continues working on it in the background. This is why sleeping on a problem often produces solutions that seemed impossible the night before. The subconscious can continue exploring possibilities, testing combinations, and integrating information during periods of rest and sleep. Memory consolidation during sleep not only strengthens learned information, but can also facilitate insight by reorganizing how information is connected. The feeling of a solution suddenly appearing after a break reflects the subconscious delivering results that conscious effort could not force. This is why sustainable creative work requires alternating periods of intense focus with genuine rest. Both modes are productive, just in different ways. Artists often describe their best work as emerging from the hidden mind. Throughout history, creative people have described their finest work as coming from somewhere beyond conscious control. Writers speak of characters who seem to write themselves, musicians of melodies that arrive complete, painters of images that emerge as if dictated from elsewhere. Whether attributed to muses, divine inspiration, or the unconscious, The experience of creativity exceeding conscious intention is nearly universal among artists. This phenomenology suggests that the subconscious is actively involved in creative production, contributing ideas and solutions that the conscious mind then shapes and evaluates. The best creative work may result from a collaboration between conscious craft and subconscious inspiration. Learning to access and trust subconscious contributions is a key element of artistic development. The subconscious reacts to metaphors as if they were real. When you encounter metaphorical language, your subconscious responds to it in ways that resemble responses to literal reality. Hearing about someone giving you the cold shoulder activates temperature-related brain areas. Thinking about grasping an idea engages motor regions associated with actual grasping. This embodied cognition reveals that the subconscious does not clearly distinguish between metaphor and reality at a deep processing level. This is why metaphors are so emotionally powerful, and why stories affect us as if they were happening to us personally. Advertisers, politicians, and therapists all use metaphor to reach the subconscious through its native language of sensory experience. The subconscious thinks in concrete images and sensations, and metaphor provides a bridge between abstract ideas and this embodied intelligence. Gut feelings are often the subconscious recognizing patterns. That sense of knowing something without being able to explain why is typically the subconscious recognizing patterns based on accumulated experience that conscious thought cannot access quickly enough. The subconscious has absorbed countless examples from past experience and can detect similarities to current situations that trigger intuitive responses. These gut feelings often prove accurate because they draw on a broader database of experience than conscious analysis typically considers. The feeling arises before rational justification because the subconscious works faster than conscious reasoning. Intuition is not magical. It is the subconscious applying its vast library of patterns to the present moment. Learning to recognize and appropriately weight these intuitive signals can enhance decision-making, especially in complex or time-pressured situations. Intuition often reflects subconscious expertise built over years. Experts in any field develop forms of intuition that seem almost supernatural to novices, but actually reflect subconscious learning accumulated through extensive experience. A chess grandmaster intuitively recognizes strong positions without calculating every variation. An experienced doctor senses something wrong before tests confirm it. This expert intuition results from thousands of examples absorbed by the subconscious, creating pattern recognition abilities that operate below conscious awareness. The expertise lives in the subconscious, allowing rapid judgments that would take conscious analysis far longer to reach. This is why expertise takes years to develop. The subconscious requires many examples to build reliable intuitive models. What looks like mysterious knowing is actually the fruit of deep subconscious learning. The subconscious predicts others' intentions before you consciously notice. In social situations, your subconscious is constantly modeling the mental states of others, predicting their likely intentions and reactions based on subtle cues. You often know intuitively when someone is lying, uncomfortable, or planning something before you consciously notice the specific signs that triggered the impression. This social intuition evolved because accurately predicting others' behavior was essential for survival in the complex social groups humans have always inhabited. The subconscious reads facial micro-expressions, body language, vocal tone, and countless other cues too subtle for conscious attention. This continuous social modeling shapes your comfort level with others and influences your behavior in ways you rarely consciously recognize. Your relationships are guided as much by subconscious social intelligence as by deliberate conscious choice. firefighters and doctors often act on subconscious pattern recognition. Emergency responders frequently describe making split-second decisions based on gut feelings that later analysis reveals were based on subtle cues they did not consciously notice. A firefighter might feel an inexplicable urge to leave a building moments before a collapse, having subconsciously detected subtle signs of structural failure. Experienced emergency physicians sometimes know a patient is critically ill before test results arrive, their subconscious having integrated subtle visual and auditory cues into an alarm signal. Research on naturalistic decision-making has revealed how much expert performance in high-stakes situations depends on these subconscious pattern recognitions. The decisions appear instantaneous and intuitive, but actually draw on deep expertise encoded in subconscious systems. Training for these professions increasingly recognizes the importance of developing and trusting this subconscious expertise. The subconscious reads micro-expressions in milliseconds. Micro-expressions are fleeting facial expressions that last only a fraction of a second, often revealing emotions that someone is trying to conceal. Your subconscious can detect these brief flashes of true feeling, even when you consciously notice nothing unusual, registering a sense of unease or distrust without identifying its source. These involuntary expressions escape before conscious control can suppress them, revealing glimpses of genuine emotion beneath the social mask. Research has identified specific micro-expressions for each basic emotion, each lasting only a 25th of a second or less. The subconscious processes these signals through the fusiform face area and other brain regions specialized for facial recognition, operating far below conscious awareness. Your intuitions about others, true feelings often derive from this subconscious reading of micro-expressions. Body language decoding happens mainly in the subconscious. Most of the information we extract from others, body language is processed subconsciously, influencing our impressions and reactions without deliberate analysis. The angle of someone's body, the openness of their posture, the degree of tension in their movements, all of these are assessed automatically by the hidden mind. Studies suggest that the majority of emotional information in face-to-face communication comes through these non-verbal channels rather than through words. The subconscious is exquisitely attuned to these signals because they were the primary communication channel for millions of years before language evolved. Even now, when verbal content contradicts body language, the subconscious tends to weight the nonverbal information more heavily. Your comfort or discomfort with others often reflects subconscious body language processing, rather than anything they explicitly said. Subconscious body language can reveal hidden lies. When people attempt deception, their subconscious often reveals the truth through body language that contradicts their words. The effort of lying creates stress that leaks through subtle changes in posture, gesture, and movement that the conscious mind cannot fully control. The subconscious of the observer may detect these discrepancies, generating a feeling of suspicion, even without the ability to articulate why. While no single body language signal reliably indicates deception, clusters of stress indicators often accompany attempts to deceive. Research on lie detection has increasingly focused on these nonverbal leakage cues that the subconscious both produces and detects. The ancient game of deception and detection continues to play out primarily at the subconscious level. Posture and gestures change subconsciously during conversations. As you interact with others, your body is constantly adjusting its position and movements in ways you do not consciously control. These subconscious shifts in posture reflect your emotional state, your degree of comfort, and your relationship with the other person. Leaning in signals interest and engagement. Leaning away may indicate discomfort or disagreement. Crossed arms can suggest defensiveness, while open palms often convey honesty and openness. These ancient signals predate language and continue to communicate subconsciously, even as we consciously attend to words. Paying attention to your own body language can reveal your subconscious feelings about a situation. The body is a theater where subconscious dramas are constantly being performed. Eye contact triggers subconscious trust signals. When you make eye contact with another person, your subconscious receives powerful information about their trustworthiness, emotional state, and intentions. Direct eye contact between allies signals trust and bonding, while averted eyes may trigger subconscious suspicion. However, excessive staring can be interpreted subconsciously as threatening or challenging, triggering defensive responses. The appropriate amount and type of eye contact varies by culture, but the subconscious importance of this signal appears universal. Eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin, a hormone associated with bonding and trust, directly linking this visual signal to neurochemistry. The eyes truly are windows through which subconscious communication flows. People unconsciously mirror the body language of those they like. When you feel positively toward someone, your subconscious automatically adjusts your body language to match theirs in a process called mirroring or postural echo. You may cross your legs when they do, adopt similar gestures, or synchronize your breathing rate without any conscious intention. This subconscious mimicry signals affiliation and builds rapport, creating a nonverbal dance of mutual attunement. The degree of mirroring in a conversation can predict the quality of the relationship between the participants. Conversely, deliberately mirroring someone's body language can sometimes increase their liking for you by triggering subconscious affiliation responses. The synchronization happens automatically, part of the social glue that binds humans together beneath conscious awareness. Speech rhythm is adjusted subconsciously for social harmony. Just as bodies synchronize unconsciously, speech patterns also converge when people interact positively. Speaking rate, pause length, and even accent features shift subconsciously to match conversation partners in a process called communication accommodation. This synchronization creates a sense of being in tune with each other and facilitates smooth turn-taking in conversation. When we dislike someone or feel adversarial, the opposite can occur, with speech patterns diverging to emphasize difference and distance. These adjustments happen below conscious awareness, driven by the subconscious navigation of social relationships. The rhythm of conversation is orchestrated by hidden minds, rather than conscious intention. Yawning is contagious because of subconscious empathy circuits. Seeing or even thinking about someone yawning can trigger an almost irresistible urge to yawn yourself, a phenomenon linked to subconscious empathy and social connection. The contagiousness of yawning reflects the activity of mirror neuron systems that subconsciously simulate others' states in our own brains. People who score higher on empathy measures are more susceptible to contagious yawning, as are those who have closer relationships with the yawner. Interestingly, this contagion does not appear until around age 4 in children, corresponding to the development of empathic capacity. Even reading about yawning can trigger the response, as the subconscious simulates the action based on verbal description alone. The yawn you are possibly suppressing right now is evidence of your subconscious social connectivity. Mirror neurons fire subconsciously when observing others' actions. Deep in your brain, specialized cells called mirror neurons fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing the same action. This subconscious mirroring creates an internal simulation of what others are doing, providing a basis for understanding their intentions and emotions. When you wince watching someone stub their toe, your mirror neuron system is simulating their pain through subconscious neural activation. This system may underlie our capacity for empathy, imitation learning, and social understanding, operating entirely below conscious awareness. Mirror neurons allow us to literally feel something of what others experience, bridging the gap between separate minds. This subconscious sharing of experience is fundamental to human social nature. Laughter often begins as a subconscious social response. Genuine laughter emerges spontaneously from the subconscious, often before conscious thought about what is funny has time to form. The sound and physical experience of laughter evolved primarily as a social signal, rather than a response to humor per se. You are far more likely to laugh when with others than when alone, even at identical stimuli, because the subconscious uses laughter to communicate bonding and shared experience. The fact that laughter is contagious reflects its social signaling function, with one person's laughter triggering subconscious mimicry in others. Forced or social laughter is generated differently in the brain than spontaneous laughter, and most people can subconsciously detect the difference. Real laughter is a message from the subconscious that cannot be fully counterfeited. Group conformity is partly driven by subconscious signals. The powerful human tendency to conform to group opinion and behavior is driven significantly by subconscious social pressure rather than deliberate choice. Classic psychology experiments have shown that people often adopt obviously incorrect positions when a group unanimously endorses them. The subconscious anxiety triggered by social isolation is so strong that it can override the evidence of our own senses. This conformity pressure operates through subconscious threat detection systems that treat social exclusion as dangerous. Throughout human evolutionary history, expulsion from the group often meant death, and this ancient threat still activates subconscious alarm systems when we diverge from group consensus. Recognizing this subconscious pressure can help us resist inappropriate conformity, while still satisfying our genuine need for social belonging. The subconscious absorbs subliminal cues too fast for conscious notice. Information presented too briefly for conscious awareness can still be processed by the subconscious and influence subsequent behavior and judgment. Subliminal stimuli, typically words or images flashed for just milliseconds, bypass conscious perception but leave measurable traces in the hidden mind. These subconscious impressions can influence emotional states, preferences, and even purchasing decisions, without the person knowing why they feel as they do. The subconscious perceptual systems have lower thresholds than conscious awareness, registering information that never reaches the level of knowing you perceived it. While the effects of subliminal influence are real, they are generally subtle and short-lived, nothing like the mind control sometimes feared. Nevertheless, the existence of subliminal perception reveals how much the subconscious processes before and beyond what we consciously experience. Advertisers design colors to reach subconscious associations. Color choices in advertising, packaging, and branding are carefully selected to trigger subconscious associations and emotional responses. Red tends to excite and create urgency. Blue typically suggests trustworthiness and calm. Green evokes nature and health. These associations operate subconsciously, influencing perception of products before conscious evaluation begins. The subconscious responds to color almost instantly, establishing an emotional context that shapes subsequent conscious interpretation. Different cultures may have different specific color associations, but the principle that color communicates to the subconscious appears universal. Every designed environment you enter has been colored with careful attention to how those choices will affect your hidden mind. Priming can influence decisions through hidden subconscious pathways. When you are exposed to a stimulus, it activates related concepts in your subconscious, making those concepts more accessible and influential in subsequent judgment and behavior. This priming effect operates below awareness, as people typically have no idea that their current decisions are being influenced by irrelevant prior exposure. Being exposed to words related to old age can make people walk more slowly. Seeing images of money can increase self-focused behavior. The subconscious spreads activation through networks of associated concepts, creating invisible connections between current environment and subsequent action. Priming effects reveal how permeable the boundaries are between perception, memory, and behavior at the subconscious level. Every experience leaves traces that subtly influence what comes after. Music alters breathing and heart rates through subconscious channels. When you listen to music, your subconscious automatically adjusts physiological states to match the emotional content and rhythm of what you hear. Slow, calm music typically leads to slower breathing and reduced heart rate. Fast, driving music tends to accelerate these functions. The subconscious emotional brain responds to music directly, triggering autonomic nervous system changes that conscious thought cannot override. This is why music is so effective at altering mood and energy levels, bypassing conscious resistance to speak directly to the hidden mind. The right music can prepare the subconscious for relaxation, activity, or emotional processing more effectively than conscious intention alone. Your subconscious has been shaped by a lifetime of musical associations that now activate automatically when you hear familiar sounds. Implicit bias operates through subconscious associations. Beyond our consciously held beliefs and values, the subconscious harbors a network of associations learned through exposure and experience that can influence judgment without our knowledge. These implicit biases may conflict with our conscious values, creating a disturbing gap between what we believe we think and how we actually respond at a deeper level. Implicit associations form through repeated exposure to cultural images, stereotypes, and personal experiences, becoming embedded in subconscious memory systems. Even people who genuinely believe in equality may show implicit biases on tests designed to measure subconscious associations. Recognizing that implicit bias operates at the subconscious level is the first step toward addressing its influence. We are all shaped by forces beneath our awareness, and humility about our subconscious minds is essential for genuine self-understanding. Subconscious bias can shape hiring choices unknowingly. Research has demonstrated that identical applications receive different responses depending on factors like the name at the top of the resume, with subconscious associations influencing evaluations that decision-makers believe are objective. Interviewers may warm to candidates who remind them subconsciously of themselves or people they trust, while cooling to those who trigger different associations. These subconscious influences can operate even when conscious intentions are to be fair and objective. Structured interviews and blind resume review have been developed precisely to reduce the influence of subconscious biases that individual judgment cannot eliminate. The gap between conscious intention and subconscious influence reveals how much our decisions are shaped by hidden processes. Organizational systems that recognize and compensate for subconscious bias can produce more equitable outcomes than trusting individual conscious fairness alone. Implicit association tests reveal subconscious preferences. The implicit association test measures the speed of subconscious categorization to reveal associations that may not match conscious beliefs. When pairing concepts is easy, responses are faster. When pairings conflict with subconscious associations, responses slow down. These reaction time differences can reveal preferences and associations that people are unaware of or would consciously deny. The test has been used to measure implicit attitudes toward racial groups, genders, age groups, and many other social categories. Results often surprise test takers who find that their subconscious associations differ markedly from their conscious values. While the test has limitations and controversies, it has opened important windows into the hidden landscape of subconscious preference. Subconscious fear can influence political choices. Political psychology research has revealed that subconscious threat perception significantly influences political attitudes and voting behavior. When the subconscious threat detection system is activated, people tend to shift toward more conservative positions on issues related to security, outsiders, and social order. Priming people with reminders of mortality or safety threats can measurably shift their political opinions, often without conscious awareness that their views have changed. The subconscious alarm systems that evolved to protect us from physical danger now influence how we respond to symbolic threats in the political arena. This suggests that political persuasion may be as much about managing subconscious fear as about rational argumentation. Understanding these subconscious influences can help citizens make more reflective choices about how they wish to be governed. The subconscious notices symmetry faster than the conscious mind. The human subconscious is strongly attracted to symmetry, detecting it almost instantaneously in faces, objects, and patterns. This preference appears to be built into our perceptual systems, with symmetrical stimuli receiving preferential processing before conscious attention is engaged. The evolutionary explanation for this preference suggests that symmetry in potential mates signals genetic health and developmental stability. Subconscious symmetry preferences influence aesthetic judgments about faces, art, and design, shaping what we find beautiful before we consciously reflect on it. The golden ratio and other mathematical proportions found in classical art may tap into these deep subconscious preferences for balanced, symmetrical forms. Your sense of beauty is heavily influenced by subconscious preferences you never chose, but inherited from countless generations of ancestors. Phobias are often rooted in subconscious fear responses. A phobia is an intense fear that operates primarily at the subconscious level, triggering panic symptoms that conscious reason cannot control. The phobic person typically knows their fear is disproportionate to actual danger, yet the subconscious alarm system fires, regardless of conscious knowledge. Many phobias appear to have evolutionary origins, with fears of snakes, spiders, heights, and enclosed spaces being far more common than fears of genuinely dangerous modern threats, like cars or electrical outlets. The subconscious has been shaped by millions of years of ancestral danger, and some of those ancient warnings remain active even in our modern environment. Treatment of phobias typically involves gradually retraining the subconscious through controlled exposure, teaching it through experience, rather than explanation, that the feared stimulus is safe. The conscious mind cannot simply command the subconscious to stop fearing. Change requires speaking in the language of experience the subconscious understands. Stage fright is triggered by subconscious threat detection. The intense anxiety many people feel before public performance is generated by subconscious systems responding to perceived social threat. Being the focus of many watching eyes triggers ancient alarm responses designed to protect us when attention from others might signal danger. The subconscious cannot easily distinguish between being watched by a curious audience and being watched by predators sizing up potential prey. This is why performance anxiety produces classic fear responses, including rapid heartbeat, sweating, dry mouth, and trembling, the body's preparation for fight or flight. Experienced performers learn techniques to regulate these subconscious responses, but the underlying trigger remains active. Stage fright is a reminder that our subconscious is still calibrated for a world very different from modern performance halls. A single traumatic sound can lodge in the subconscious for life. The subconscious can form lasting associations from single intense experiences, particularly those involving fear or trauma. A specific sound present during a traumatic event can become permanently linked to the emotional response, triggering anxiety or flashbacks decades later, whenever that sound is encountered. This rapid fear learning evolved because it only takes one encounter with a predator to learn a potentially life-saving lesson. The subconscious does not forget such lessons easily, maintaining vigilance against any repetition of the threatening circumstances. This is why trauma survivors may be triggered by seemingly innocuous sensory cues that were present during their original traumatic experience. The subconscious carries these associations as protective warnings, even when they no longer serve any useful purpose. Subconscious beliefs can intensify physical pain. The experience of physical pain is significantly influenced by subconscious expectations and emotional states, not merely by the physical cause of the sensation. When the subconscious expects pain to be severe, the experience actually becomes more intense. When it expects relief, pain genuinely diminishes. Anxiety and fear activate subconscious pain amplification systems, while relaxation and positive expectation engage pain modulation that reduces suffering. This is why distraction, relaxation techniques, and positive visualization can meaningfully reduce pain beyond their effects on mere attention. The subconscious interprets pain signals through a lens shaped by prior experience, current emotional state, and future expectations. Understanding this can help sufferers recognize that pain relief techniques are not merely psychological distractions, but actual influences on subconscious pain processing. The subconscious can keep stress responses active long after danger passes. The subconscious stress response system, designed to mobilize resources during acute threat, can become chronically activated in conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder and chronic anxiety. Once the subconscious alarm system has been sensitized by traumatic experience, it may continue firing long after objective danger has passed. This chronic activation produces persistent elevation of stress hormones, heightened startle responses, and hypervigilance that exhaust the body and mind. The conscious mind may know that the danger is over, but the subconscious threat detection system remains on high alert. Healing requires persuading the subconscious, through gradual exposure, safe experiences, and sometimes therapeutic intervention, that the emergency is truly over. The gap between conscious knowledge and subconscious response can be one of the most challenging aspects of trauma recovery. Pain relief can be boosted through subconscious expectation. The power of expectation to modulate pain operates primarily through subconscious mechanisms that influence how the brain processes pain signals. When you believe you have received an effective pain medication, your subconscious activates endogenous pain relief systems even if the medication is inert. Brain imaging studies have shown that placebo pain relief involves the same opioid receptors and neural pathways as actual analgesic medications. The subconscious expectation of relief is not merely a change in attention or reporting. It produces genuine neurochemical changes that reduce pain transmission. This is why the context of treatment, including the confidence of the provider and the impressiveness of the setting, can enhance analgesic effects. Harnessing the power of subconscious expectation is an important frontier in pain management, potentially reducing the need for medications with side effects. The placebo effect works through subconscious belief. The placebo effect demonstrates that subconscious belief in treatment can produce measurable biological changes independent of any active ingredient. When patients believe they are receiving effective treatment, their subconscious initiates healing responses that can match or approach the effects of actual medications. This effect has been documented across a remarkable range of conditions, from pain and depression to Parkinson's disease and immune function. The placebo effect is not imagination or pretending to feel better. It reflects genuine changes in brain chemistry, hormone levels, and physiological function. Understanding that the subconscious can be a powerful ally in healing opens new approaches to medicine that work with, rather than against, the hidden mind. The placebo effect reveals that the boundary between mind and body, between subjective belief and objective biology, is far more porous than previously imagined. Subconscious beliefs can affect immune system strength. Research in psychoneuroimmunology has revealed that subconscious emotional states and beliefs can significantly influence immune function. Stress, depression, and negative expectations activate subconscious pathways that suppress immune responses, while positive emotions and social support enhance immune activity. The subconscious nervous system communicates directly with immune cells through hormones and neurotransmitters, linking mental states to physical resistance against disease. Classical conditioning can even train immune responses, with the subconscious learning to suppress or enhance immunity in response to specific cues. Cancer patients with more positive and fighting attitudes show measurably better immune function, though the relationship between attitude and survival remains complex. The subconscious connection between mind and immune system suggests that psychological well-being is not merely feeling good but has direct implications for physical health. Subconscious therapy can reprocess traumatic memories. Therapeutic approaches like eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR, appear to access and modify traumatic memories stored at the subconscious level. Trauma memories are often locked in a raw, unprocessed state that continues to trigger intense emotional and physical responses long after the event. These therapies seem to facilitate a subconscious reprocessing that integrates the memory more completely, reducing its emotional charge without eliminating the memory itself. The process does not depend heavily on conscious verbal processing but works through mechanisms that remain partially mysterious. Many trauma survivors emerge from such treatment with their memory intact, but the overwhelming emotional component significantly reduced. This suggests that healing from trauma may require working directly with subconscious memory systems, rather than only through conscious talking and understanding. Trauma often embeds itself in the subconscious as sensory fragments. Traumatic memories are often stored differently from ordinary memories, not as coherent narratives, but as fragmented sensory impressions held in the subconscious. Survivors may experience intrusive flashbacks of sights, sounds, smells, or body sensations that suddenly transport them back to the traumatic moment. These fragments are encoded by the subconscious at the time of trauma and remain isolated from the normal memory integration that would make them feel like past events. The smell of burning, a particular color, or a specific sound can trigger overwhelming emotional and physical responses because the subconscious stores these fragments as present threats rather than past memories. Treatment of trauma often involves helping the subconscious reintegrate these fragments into narrative memory, transforming them from eternal present into manageable past. Understanding this fragmented nature of traumatic memory helps explain why simply trying to forget or think about something else does not resolve trauma. Imagery alone can alter heart rate through subconscious pathways. Simply imagining a frightening or exciting scenario can produce the same cardiovascular changes as actually experiencing it, because the subconscious does not fully distinguish between vivid mental imagery and actual perception. Athletes who visualize their performance experience muscle activation and heart rate changes similar to actual physical exertion. Conversely, relaxation imagery can lower blood pressure and heart rate as the subconscious responds to the imagined calm as if it were real. This connection between imagery and physiological response is the basis of visualization techniques used in sports psychology, stress management, and medical treatment. The subconscious treats vivid imagination as a form of reality, activating the same autonomic responses that actual experience would trigger. Learning to direct mental imagery is therefore a way of communicating with and influencing the hidden mind's control of physical functioning. Subconscious learning continues during deep sleep. The subconscious mind continues important learning processes during deep sleep, consolidating and organizing information encountered during waking hours. During the slow-wave stage of sleep, the hippocampus replays memories and transfers them to long-term storage in the cortex, a process that occurs without any conscious awareness. This subconscious learning is essential for converting fragile new memories into stable, lasting knowledge. Studies have shown that sleeping after studying produces better retention than the same amount of time spent awake, precisely because the subconscious is actively processing and strengthening the material. The brain is not simply resting during deep sleep, but engaged in intensive learning work beneath the surface of awareness. This is why adequate sleep is not a luxury, but a necessity for effective learning, providing the subconscious time it needs to complete its essential work. Memory consolidation during sleep depends on subconscious work. The process by which new memories become stable and integrated into existing knowledge depends critically on subconscious activity during sleep. While you rest, your subconscious replays and strengthens neural connections formed during learning, weaving new information into the fabric of long-term memory. This consolidation process is selective, with emotionally significant and repeatedly encountered information receiving preferential processing. Dream sleep appears particularly important for consolidating procedural memories, like motor skills and complex tasks. The subconscious seems to understand what is important even when conscious attention has moved elsewhere. Sleep deprivation impairs this consolidation process, leaving memories fragile and prone to forgetting, despite conscious effort to remember. Athletes use visualization to program subconscious success patterns. Elite athletes routinely employ mental rehearsal techniques that communicate directly with the subconscious motor control systems that execute physical performance. When an athlete vividly imagines performing their sport, the same motor programming regions of the brain activate as during actual movement, though at reduced intensity. This mental practice allows the subconscious to refine movement patterns without the wear and physical strain of additional physical training. The visualization must be vivid and detailed to engage subconscious systems effectively, including sensory details and the feeling of successful execution. Research has confirmed that mental practice combined with physical training produces better results than physical training alone. Athletes are essentially programming their subconscious with detailed blueprints for the performance they seek to deliver. The subconscious absorbs language patterns before grammar is understood. Children acquire language primarily through subconscious pattern recognition, absorbing the structure and rhythms of their native tongue long before any conscious understanding of grammar develops. The subconscious extracts statistical regularities from the stream of speech it hears, identifying word boundaries, grammatical patterns, and pronunciation rules without explicit instruction. This is why children can produce grammatically correct sentences they have never heard before, applying subconsciously learned rules to generate novel combinations. The critical period for this subconscious language absorption appears to close in late childhood, making adult language learning more dependent on conscious study. Native language proficiency lives primarily in the subconscious, which is why native speakers often cannot explain the grammatical rules they flawlessly apply. Language is first a subconscious skill, and the conscious understanding of grammar comes later, if at all. Reviewing information before bed helps subconscious consolidation, reanimation. Studying material shortly before sleep positions it for preferential processing during the night's subconscious memory consolidation. The recently reviewed information is fresher and more active in the brain when sleep-related consolidation processes begin, giving it an advantage in being strengthened and integrated. This is why reviewing vocabulary words, formulas, or other study material before bed often produces better next-day recall than morning study, followed by a full day of interfering activity. The subconscious works on whatever material is most recently and actively held in working memory when sleep begins. However, the material must be genuinely studied rather than merely skimmed, as depth of initial processing affects what the subconscious has to work with during sleep. Strategic timing of study can harness the subconscious consolidation processes that naturally occur during rest. The subconscious can suppress distractions to protect focus. When you are deeply concentrating on a task, your subconscious actively filters out potentially distracting stimuli to protect your focused attention. This subconscious suppression of irrelevant information is essential for sustained concentration in our stimulus-rich environment. The filtering occurs at multiple stages of processing, with some distractions blocked before reaching consciousness, and others diminished, even if briefly noticed. This ability to protect focus varies between individuals and can be depleted by fatigue, stress, or sustained mental effort. When the subconscious filtering fails, attention becomes scattered and productivity suffers, which is why interruptions are so costly to focused work. Training and environmental management can support the subconscious attention systems, reducing the burden of distraction filtering and preserving cognitive resources for the task at hand. The subconscious decides when you feel hungry. The sensation of hunger is not simply a response to an empty stomach, but a complex signal generated by subconscious systems monitoring multiple factors. Your subconscious tracks blood sugar levels, hormone concentrations, circadian rhythms, and learned eating patterns to determine when to generate the feeling of hunger. This is why you often feel hungry at your usual mealtimes, even if you have recently eaten. The subconscious expects food based on established patterns. Emotional states, stress levels, and environmental cues also influence the subconscious hunger signal in ways that have little to do with actual nutritional need. The subconscious can be retrained to generate hunger at different times through consistent new eating patterns, though this takes time. Your appetite is orchestrated by a hidden conductor whose motivations are only partially related to the state of your stomach. Cravings are guided by subconscious nutrient needs. When you experience a strong craving for a particular food, your subconscious may be signaling a nutritional need through the language of desire. Though this system can be hijacked by modern hyperpalatable foods, the underlying mechanism evolved to guide eating toward needed nutrients. Cravings for salt, for example, intensify when the body is sodium depleted, while desires for protein-rich foods increase after insufficient protein intake. The subconscious monitors nutrient status through sensors throughout the body and generates specific appetites to address deficiencies. However, in our modern food environment rich in processed foods designed to trigger craving regardless of nutritional need, this guidance system can lead us astray. Learning to distinguish between genuine nutritional signals and artificially triggered cravings requires attending to the body's deeper wisdom, while recognizing the manipulations of food engineering. The subconscious filters background noise automatically. In any environment, your subconscious is constantly filtering incoming sounds, determining what to bring to conscious attention and what to suppress as irrelevant background noise. The continuous hum of air conditioning, the drone of traffic, the ticking of clocks, all of these are filtered out by subconscious processes so that conscious attention is not overwhelmed. This filtering is adaptive, with sounds changing or becoming suddenly relevant, breaking through to awareness, while steady-state sounds fade into the background. The subconscious maintains a model of the expected sound environment and alerts conscious attention when something deviates from this expectation. This automatic filtering allows you to concentrate and sleep in environments that would otherwise be impossibly distracting. The silence you experience in a noisy room is not an absence of sound, but an active creation of the subconscious mind. The cocktail party effect depends on subconscious filtering. At a crowded party with many simultaneous conversations, you can somehow follow one voice while the others blur into indistinct noise, a feat of subconscious auditory processing called the cocktail party effect. Your subconscious uses multiple cues, including voice pitch, location, timing patterns, and linguistic content, to separate the target voice from the competing background. Even more remarkably, if someone across the room says your name, your attention may suddenly shift, revealing that the subconscious was monitoring the unattended conversations for relevant content all along. This ability demonstrates the massive parallel processing capacity of subconscious systems that would overwhelm conscious attention if all information reached awareness. The cocktail party effect shows that the subconscious is not merely blocking irrelevant input, but actively processing far more than consciousness ever knows about. Your sense of selective focus is possible only because of intensive subconscious work you never experienced directly. Your subconscious can wake you at a chosen time. Many people have the ability to wake reliably at a chosen time without an alarm, a skill that depends on subconscious time tracking during sleep. Before falling asleep, the conscious intention to wake at a specific time is communicated to subconscious systems that then maintain time awareness throughout the night. Research has shown that stress hormone levels begin rising in anticipation of waking about an hour before the intended wake time, suggesting subconscious preparation for arousal. This internal alarm is not always precise, but works remarkably well for many individuals, especially when the wake time carries emotional significance or importance. The subconscious timekeeping mechanism that enables this ability operates completely outside conscious awareness during sleep. This phenomenon demonstrates that even while the conscious mind is offline, the subconscious remains vigilant and capable of complex temporal monitoring. Subconscious processes determine how time feels to pass. The subjective experience of time flowing quickly or slowly is heavily influenced by subconscious processing that has little to do with actual clock time. When you are deeply engaged in an absorbing activity, the subconscious reduces time monitoring activity, producing the experience of time flying by. Conversely, when you are bored, stressed, or anxiously waiting, subconscious attention to time increases, making each moment seem to stretch. Emotional intensity also distorts time perception, with threatening or exciting experiences often seeming to unfold in slow motion, as the subconscious heightens alertness and information processing. Retrospective time estimation is influenced by the number of new memories formed, making varied, eventful periods seem longer in memory than monotonous ones. Your experience of time is a subconscious construction that can differ dramatically from what the clock indicates. Handwriting pressure and slant reveal subconscious states. The physical characteristics of handwriting, including pressure, slant, letter size, and spacing, are influenced by subconscious states that the writer may not consciously recognize. Emotional arousal tends to increase writing pressure and speed, while depression may produce lighter, slower writing with smaller letters. These variations occur automatically, without conscious control, reflecting the influence of subconscious emotional and physiological states on fine motor execution. While graphology as a personality assessment tool lacks scientific support, the observation that handwriting varies with mood and emotional state is well established. Your signature may look subtly different, depending on your subconscious state at the moment of signing. The hand becomes an instrument through which subconscious conditions express themselves in the physical traces of writing. Word choice in speech is shaped subconsciously before speaking. When you speak, the specific words that emerge are selected by subconscious processes that operate faster than conscious choice could possibly manage. The subconscious retrieves words that fit your meaning, grammatical needs, and social context, presenting them to consciousness as the speech flows. This word selection reflects subconscious patterns, associations, and emotional states, which is why speech analysis can reveal attitudes and feelings the speaker might consciously deny. Freudian slips, where the wrong word emerges, may represent moments when subconscious associations interfere with intended communication. The fluency of natural speech depends entirely on this subconscious word retrieval. When it fails, as in tip of the tongue states, speech becomes halting and effortful. Speaking is a collaboration between conscious intention and subconscious execution that occurs so smoothly we rarely notice the partnership. The subconscious is always learning even when the conscious rests. Throughout every moment of your life, awake or asleep, attending or distracted, your subconscious continues its endless process of learning from experience. Every sensory input, every action outcome, every social interaction deposits traces in the subconscious that subtly reshape future perceptions and responses. This learning occurs whether or not you consciously intend to learn, absorbing patterns from the environment continuously and automatically. The subconscious you will have tomorrow is being shaped by the experiences you are having today, in ways you may never consciously know. This ceaseless subconscious learning is both a gift and a responsibility, for the environments and experiences we choose shape minds we cannot directly observe. The hidden mind never stops growing, changing, and adapting, a silent partner in every moment of the life you consciously experience. And now the quiet wonders of the subconscious mind begin to gently fade into the stillness of the night. You have wandered through over 100 peaceful truths about the hidden world within you. From the earliest imprints of childhood to the ceaseless work of your sleeping brain. From gut feelings that guide your choices to dreams that speak in symbols. From the reflexes that protect you in moments of danger to the habits that carry you through each day without thought. You have explored how the subconscious reads faces, adjusts your heartbeat, stores your memories, and whispers answers to questions your conscious mind had long abandoned. You have learned that beneath every thought you notice, there are countless more you never will, all working together in quiet harmony. You are connected to this story more deeply than you may realize. Right now, as you listen, your subconscious is doing what it has always done. Keeping your heart beating, regulating your breath, filtering the sounds around you, preparing your mind for rest. It does not need your permission or your attention. It simply serves, faithfully and silently, as it has since the very first moment of your life. If your eyes feel heavy now, let them close. Let the rhythm of your breath become steady, like the gentle pulse of thought beneath awareness, like the quiet hum of a mind that never stops caring for you. Tonight, as you rest, your subconscious continues its quiet work. It will guard your sleep, weave your dreams, consolidate the memories of this day, rehearse skills you are learning, soothe emotions you are processing, and prepare you gently for tomorrow. You are a small, warm presence within this vast inner world, peacefully resting among the wonders. Sleep well, sweet dreams, and may you carry with you the quiet knowledge that you are never truly alone, for the subconscious is always there, listening, learning, and looking after you in ways you will never fully see. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the mysteries of the hidden mind. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Drowsy Discovery for more soothing explorations of how your mind and body work together. There are more wonders waiting. More secrets hidden in the depths of sleep and the quiet corners of memory. More gentle truths to drift through on quiet evenings. Rest well, and may the gentle wisdom of your subconscious keep you company through the night. This has been Drowsy Discovery. Good night.